Sorry, gentlemen, back.
Do you have any comments?
Yes, I have a comment. I don't agree with this at all. How many townhouses you building back there? 65 or something like that?
There's a total of 68 within 3A. There's 28 single families and there's 40 towns.
And you're gonna dump motor traffic on the McConnell Road?
Currently, that's where traffic is going, but based on the schedule, phase 3A will pave in the spring of 2022.
You guys come here and sell one product, and then you keep changing, and keep changing. I asked you guys to do one thing, and you still haven't done it. All the ponds are completely filled to the top. There's little kids down there throwing rocks in them. I mean, 3 and 4 years old. They can't even read no trespassing sign. And you guys haven't addressed that at all. I say we don't do this, that you open it all the way through, the way you proposed it.
What's the reason for the request?
It's due to the lending requirements right now. We had to do it in phase 2. There's only so many lots that they'll permit for the lending requirements. So when we moved into phase 2, we had to split it and we have to do the same thing for phase 3.
So, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but say the board doesn't approve these requested changes, then what?
I do not know. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know how that will impact our lending. At this point in time, with my knowledge of the situation, I don't think lending will go through. So I think that this is, while I understand the concern, the ultimate plan is still being executed and that we are doing the improvements to Burnside and Muse Bishop as well as the improvements to McConnell.
When?
The summer.
Your truck's got every sidewalk crushed and broken. Every one, every
To my
break.
knowledge, they've been fixed.
No, they haven't. I was up there
I haven't
yesterday.
been out there recently, so if there's something that occurred recently, I'll speak.
I can go take you right now, take you up and show you 4 of them that are broken.
Okay.
The handicap ramps haven't been installed, and you said these were gonna do. None of them. What you have in here are not handicap ramps.
To answer the first question, the improvements to Burnside and Muse Bishop are going to be done in the summer of 2022. In terms of the stormwater ponds and the handicap ramps, all I can say at this point in time is I can check in with the developer and see what their plan is for those items and have them reach out to you.
So,
I've been told that you guys are gonna correct the ponds, and you haven't. And you figure you're gonna dump, what, maybe another 100 cars a day on McConnell? I mean, if you're gonna 68 townhouses and 28 homes, probably more cars than that.
And with the schedule that we hope to follow, by the time people are moving into 3A, that connection down to Burnside will be made. So it's going to take 4 to 6 months to build homes. So if we're paving in the spring of 2022 for 3A, by the time people are actually moving into 3A, 3B will be completed construction and will be paving down. So then they would have 2 outlets. It's also good because the Burnside, Muse Bishop improvements will be done during the summer, where it limits the impacts to the school district.
I just totally don't agree with none of it. It's not what you sold. It's not what you sold us.
The items that you noted with the ADA and the stormwater, I'll check in on that and get an answer for you.
make sure you do the handicap, because you had to go back and redo the sidewalks and the overlook because they were not ADA compliant. So I hate to see you have to go back, do them, and then have to redo them again.
I have a question. The scope of work on McConnell Road, 100 feet east of the entrance. Didn't we just recently do paving there? Can you expand on this?
I believe the work you're citing is that there was a widening to help with the turning movements. And what Mr. Fleer is commenting on with the turning movements of trucks coming in that were damaging the entrance. So there was a widening that occurred there. What's going to occur as part of the Phase 3B approvals we're requesting is that McConnell Road will be milled and repaved the entirety 100 feet east of our development. So from the intersection of McConnell and Muse Bishop to 100 feet east of our entrance.
Thank you.
So quite Quite honestly, I don't like the "or" at the end of 8 and 8 requested change where you're saying "or posting satisfactory financial security for the improvement." The agreement always was that you would make the improvement. If you're posting financial security, for what? For what specified period of time, like for who to take over?
I believe the thought process was that as construction continues, rather than investing the money in that mill and repave activity, that we would potentially post security if we were going to be pulling building permits in 3B, so that that work could be done after, so the risk of any damage occurring happening after would be
But that's kind of opposite of what you just said. You're saying that the connection is going to be made as you're finishing out 3A, so that, because you're going to be paving 3B, but now you're saying you don't want to run over it, mill and pave while you're doing 3B.
You're talking about McConnell, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. I think if the agreement was that you do the upgrades to McConnell Road at the intersection of East Bishop and 50 feet east of the entrance, then you do the improvements. Like there's no, like, hey, we're gonna post it, or there needs to be a time frame in there that says you have so many months in order to complete the work, not just like this never-ending posting of financial security.
Cynthia,
Yes.
I don't have a problem with pushing it to 3B, but I agree with you. I still think they need to do the payment themselves and not talk about a post for one.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear it.
He said he agrees with me, that he's okay with pushing it to 3B, which I am too, but I don't, neither does Tom want you to post financial security. Like, you're either gonna do the improvements or you're not. I don't know, Eric, do you have an opinion on that?
Do we have a motion in a second?
No.
I would probably lean towards tabling it to get Ronnie his answer and also addressing that issue.
To get his answer for what?
Ronnie's answer on the water retention ponds. So I would make a motion to table.
Before
Well, hold on. We have to be careful though, because Ron's questions aren't directly related to the changes here. So I think that we need to hold you accountable, and we can take a second motion to hold you accountable to the things that Supervisor Fleer's talking about, but that's separate from what's right here. So we have to be careful with saying the two.
I agree, that's separate, and my question is also going to be the specifics of what you were looking to do. Or ADA ramp is clear. The ADA ramps are clear, that's clear. The stormwater item is not. So I think first, let's address this, and then I
So
agree.
hold on, let's quickly, because I think we can solve this. Let's set a meeting with you, Supervisor Fleer, Dan Dysworth of Gateway, and Bill Bottle, our Director of Public Works, to work out the water issues that Supervisor Fleer is referring to. Are you okay with that, Ron?
I'd like the DEP to be there.
That's fine. Whomever you,
It's going to be very difficult, they don't come to meetings right now.
right.
We
so-
can say, we can ask.
We can ask.
We can ask.
I'm looking at Washington Conservation District.
Yeah, so let's set that up to address his problems. Please make sure that the ADA ramps are in your sidewalks, and we will be following up. Bill, you keep an eye on that. And then-
I'm not sure, does this work?
It should. Is it on the phone? Press the
Anyway, I speak loud enough. Let me just jump in here real quick, because I had something I want to bring to the board's attention.
The only problem is the
Tonight.
live, hold on, the live feed isn't gonna pick it up if you're just talking. It's on the bottom.
Anyway, something I was going to bring up tonight in my comments, was the fact that we are going to be closing Coomer Road tomorrow, Wednesday, the 8th of September. It was recommended that we close that ramp coming up East Bishop Road down to Coomer back in, I believe it was May. We did some temporary repairs to hold it in until the school year was out. Those repairs lasted longer than we expected. We've always had a detour route for its closure in place. It was put together by Mike Aberman of Gateway. We have the signs already assembled and ready to be put up. We were just waiting to see how long this would last. After last week's rain, it was lubricated again with that rainfall, and it started moving again. So I notified Jordan Mayer, the transportation director with Canamac last Thursday, so that he would have some lead time to change his bus routes around. But we're going to be closing that for an indefinite period. Now, one of the things that we had discussed prior was the coordination of the East Bishop and Burnside intersection improvement with Coomer Road, the possible realignment there. Now, I don't know that we've actually worked out the details of that yet. I'm just not sure. I can't speak for Gateway, but that was one of the thoughts that Dan Dizeroff and Joe Seitz had come up, discussed with Dawn and I. So no formal plans have been, I haven't seen any, but that's something to consider in voting on this. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing those intersection improvements at East Bishop Road and Burnside delayed until next spring, until we have time to take a look at it and see if there's a benefit for all concerned, with a possible realignment of Coomer.
So if I'm understanding correctly, you want to see this delayed so that you can have
Yes.
time to?
Yes,
Okay.
I wouldn't be opposed to it for that reason.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you. So I think we just have to be careful. So I think if you take out the part where it says posting satisfactory financial security for the improvement, let me read that one more time.
I don't mind it being there, just put a timeline with it or date associated with that.
How long?
I don't know, but maybe let legal counsel look at it. I would recommend tabling it again.
I don't think
It's
it
going
needs
to
to.
take a year to build down, and then other options at least.
Do you think it needs to?
If
That's a
the
good timing though for
the
that.
improvement still occurs, whether it's financial security or not, correct? I mean,
But the problem was, and you and I, we've been doing this long enough to understand that financial security could put it out a significant number of years. Like we still have money from companies who owe us things from 5 years ago. So for me, like that just gives you years down the line to potentially do this instead of doing it in the time frame that we expected, which was sometime in phase 3. Now, I understand that maybe you can't do it before phase 3A or during phase 3A, but I think it needs to be done before you can move on from B. So there's Eric asked for me to
They
take.
could pave the road and do the time. They don't have to put all the utilities in. Just so the road's open all the way through.
yeah, the only reason for my hesitation is that I'm looking at it's tied to the building permits, and I understand the concern with timing. I don't know what an acceptable timeframe could be placed on the financial security.
I mean, but
I
if we're issuing-
can't answer that.
If we're issuing building permits, people are moving. You're building a home and people are moving in and the road's still isn't done. So then you still have the issue of the one exit, one entrance, which the whole issue was people having multiple ingress and egress.
Well, 3B, if 3B's paid, then they have the summer, Burnside, East Bishop is going to be complete, right? And then 3B will be paid in fall. So they would have the out. I guess my question is the financial security and the reasoning. And my understanding of it was it would be places, so if we pulled 3B building permits and I'm putting words in that the township didn't want traffic going on McConnell, we could post the financial security to prevent that from happening and doing the improvements too soon.
So let's do this. I'm not